loyalty to our king, their growth has been remarkable. I dare to hope that before long, they will be able to carry out their duties without further instruction. I may be relieved of my duty. Well, let's see, is there any other horrifying details we can unearth here? Or was it just the one mangled corpse? Yeah, okay. It seems to have just been the one mangled corpse. Actually, I really should probably go back to this for this entire research facility, to be honest. She says, you found the key? Great, I'll call the others. Yeah, okay. Those little green bottles. At first I was like, what is this, soju lying on the ground? It seems the key can be used to operate the lift as well. Up we go. Yeah, that's fine. So this is the observatory. I didn't expect it to be similar, but this is a far cry from the temple that held Veilguard. All the machinery appears to still be in operation. I expect there are auxiliary systems in place to ensure that monitoring can continue even in emergencies. The warnings indicate various anomalies, related to the seal's failure most likely. For a blessing, we managed to fell the beast before it could cause harm. Right then. Let's see if we can find some clues about Golulja's mother. I think I can use this terminal. Shale taught me how. Oh, I have an ad starting in a few, less than a minute. So if you get caught in ads, take that as a chance to get up, stretch, hydrate, whatever you need to do. See you on the other side. That spiel looks funny coming from the sus sock, but whatever. There's so much data. I don't know what we should look at. Perhaps we can narrow down the search by inputting the name Tisho-ja. Ah, it brought up a lot of results. They all seem to say the same thing. Tisho-ja, Administrator of Experimental Treatments. Research logs. This sounds good, doesn't it? Chances are the data is encrypted, and even if not, it'll take considerable time to go through it all. Then let us take it with us to the back room and have Shale analyze it. Agreed. Alright, I'll transfer it to this storage device I brought. You gonna put it on your thumb drive? There, it's finished. That was fast. Thank you so much for bringing me all the way here, everyone. If you're happy, then so am I. Besides, I was able to learn more about my brother as well. It was a fruitful adventure for the both of us. I could be reading all of these, but they're just, you know, flavor. And here we are. The authorities will doubtless wish to be informed about the facility and its contents. But first things first, let us deliver the data to Shale. You're not wrong. This is not where I'm going. Someday I'll learn my way around. That's a lie. Probably not, but... Welcome back. Galulja has already given me the storage device. There looks to be a wealth of data, all of which is encrypted, so I'll need time to process everything. Yeah, that's fair. In that case, Alize and I might take ourselves around the city and check on the people. Hi, their mood has us a bit worried. I don't know if there's anything we can do to help, but we'll see. Understood. I'll let you know as soon as I've finished my work. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Alize isn't wrong. The mood out there is still grim. Some of the Turali remember a time before they were dependent on the soul system, but even they're unsettled and wondering aloud if they'll have the chance to reunite with old friends and family before they pass on. With good reason, too. The journey home won't be an easy one for those who've grown old. That's why it's mostly been younger folk who've been leaving for Tural, ones with no elders to care for. Word of that problem has reached us in Tuliola. My brother is doing all he can to see the Shaktural Railroad restored to operation, so that people may come and go more freely. Unfortunately, the tracks only go as far as Veilguard, so some traveling by foot will still be necessary. Even so, the railroad would make things out sight easier. How long before it's back in service? I couldn't say. When I left for this visit, Kona seemed reluctant to make promises. But while Shale's working on the data, we could go and see the state of it for ourselves. To Shaloni Station, then. I'll make sure to keep Kona informed. So we get to go see our train buddies. I'm still so happy about our train buddies. I suppose I can stop being sus for now. Are we gonna see my teenage son anywhere? Because I do enjoy my teenage son that I have adopted. Vow of Resolve and Evan Aloran to boot. What can I do you for? We're hoping for some good news about the railroad. There's an increasing number of people looking to return to Tural that can't make the journey on foot. I see. As it happens, the Vow of Reason is also on his way here to take stock of the situation. Ah, scratch the on his way. Oh, hi, Kona. Oh, look, it's Aaronville. Looking dapper. Sorry, my options are looking good, Aaronville, or did our little Bun finally outgrow his old clothes? Which obviously I have to take that. Stop that. As you well know, my previous attire was that of a gleaner, and I have chosen a different path. It was time for a change. Yeah, well, I'm enjoying the change. Look at that slutty neckline. You hear about the railroad too? It was in part for my sake that the original Dawnblazer was sacrificed, so I felt it only right that I assist with its replacement. Speaking of which, I love that he still has the backpack, but like, I assume Lamati has explained the growing urgency of the need. What have you to report? The new locomotive was on track for completion, but we're having difficulty pulling her into the station, in a manner of speaking. You see, when we used the Dawnblazer to get into the dome, urgency outweighed all other considerations. But now we're back to our original problem: how to run the railroad without upsetting the inhabitants of Mewahetson. Sorry, reading the names again. That is the Ronique. Though the Hetzero that follow them are none too pleased about their Hetzo being spooked by the noise of the locomotive, either. The solution I've devised to quieten the railroad should address that complaint. But a silent train presents a different danger. The Ronique will need to be deterred from wandering across the tracks. And I suppose we can't just blow the whistle at them, or they'll panic and be put off their grazing again. Weren't the rail routes plotted to avoid the Ronique's preferred grazing areas, though? It's odd that they're getting so close in the first place. The Ronique's grazing patterns have shifted since the tracks were laid. I'm not certain why, but I intend to ask the people of Mewahetson for their insight. As a major proponent of the railroad, I have a duty to assist in this matter, and I too would hear what the Hetzero have to say about it. They are the ones most affected, after all. Seriously, I'm very much enjoying Aaronville's new look. It's very yummy. I believe it would be best to begin by consulting their leader, Huato. The rest of you can accompany us to the Hetzero encampment if you like. I was going to say, there's a thing there, isn't there? I don't actually have to run my way there. Vow of resolve, vow of reason. I bid you welcome to our camp. But what brings you all the way to Mewahetson? Zone. I thank you for seeing us. Our visit concerns the matter of the Shaktiral Railroad. I'm so amused by the baby cat boy. You too have noted the Ronique's unexpected change in behavior, then. My son, Geppetto, has been looking into this matter. Geppetto? Normally, we'd expect the Ronique to keep to their favorite grounds nearby for a while yet, and despite a thorough search, we haven't found anything wrong with the quantity or quality of the grazing in the Pyaryonan and Yatanane. Yet they refuse to keep to where they usually would, instead pushing westward toward your railroad. I certainly see no cause for this unseasonal migration. Nevertheless, should they continue to move west, we will follow. As any true Hetzero would, I suppose. As you may have surmised, I am of Hetzero descent. My parents traveled with the Ronique as well, though I myself have no memory of the experience. I was left behind as a babe, you see, during such a migration. One of many sacrifices necessitated by a nomadic lifestyle, I am forced to assume. Buddy. A chance encounter with a kind Pelu merchant was the only reason I survived. Taking pity on me... I'm going away from this. Taking pity on me, he taught me his trade that I might fend for myself. I became a stallkeeper in Tuliola's markets, and that's where the Dawn Servant found and adopted me. I'd already been in the palace some time when Lamati came to join us. Like me, she'd been cast aside by her parents. I knew the pain of solitude and wanted to spare her that suffering. As this tiny child's new brother, I swore I would always be there for her. Truly, I've never heard of the Runique choosing a path so arduous as to force such a terrible decision, nor of any Hetzero willingly leaving their own flesh and blood behind. There must have been some exceptional circumstance. I cannot say. The idea of following in their footsteps that I might better make excuses for their actions never much appealed to me. But if they had good reason, wouldn't you want to know? Or even if it might help you better understand the Runique's current behavior. Yeah, we'll do that one. He's got some unresolved issues. As is so often the case, you are correct. Though my discomfort with the Hetzero way may arise from the fear of reopening old wounds rather than blind fervor for innovation, it would nevertheless see me repeat past mistakes. And to refuse to learn one of our country's treasured traditions would make me a poor Dawn Servant indeed. Please, teach me of the Runique and what they mean to you. I promise to listen with an open mind. We'd be delighted. In the meantime, your companions are welcome to look around. Will you learn of the Hetzero culture with me? I should like to approach this with the fervent curiosity that you and my sister share, but it would be useful to know whether I am, doing it correctly. Buddy, it's not science. Then it's settled. You'll learn more of the Runique, and we'll have a look around the plains, and perhaps in the process we'll find the answers we seek. He wants to know if he's listening correctly. Buddy. The quickest way to learn about our way of life is to do as we do. I hope you're not above manual labor. I am not above manual labor. It's kind of what I do everywhere I go. I'm not the most experienced, I'm ashamed to admit, but I shall put forth every effort. That's all we ask. Take these tools. Now, introduce yourself to anyone who looks busy and ask if you can help. They'll be happy to teach you what to do in exchange for another pair of hands to do it. Let's meet back here later to share what we've learned. I love the giant fluffy tail. Anyway, let's go do some stuff. As you stroke the Runique's coat, you note that many portions are shaggy and tangled. This one's fur is a bit overgrown, but a good brushing should thin it out. Would you like to give it a try? You'll need the right tools for the job, mind you. A comb of the type you're used to would just get lost in the tangle like as not. I have a brush. Ah, Geppetto sent a Runique brush with you, did he? How like him. Now just run it through one little patch at a time, gently. Because brushing the beasts is helping me learn. You dutifully brush the Runique until your arms grow weary from the prolonged battle with its coat. It appears much tidier now, though the same cannot be said for your clothes, which have acquired a new coat of their own. Well done! With less excess fur, our friend here will be more comfortable in the afternoon heat, and less susceptible to illness. A combed coat also makes it easier for us to identify injuries, should the need arise. We're gonna randomly mount things, because... I'm afraid I've finished with my tasks for the time being, but since you're so eager to learn about our way of life, why don't I tell you a bit about our migration customs? Yeah, that'd be good. If you're here, you likely already know that the Runique are our Hetso, our guides, that we travel with that we travel with through the turning of the seasons. We trust them to lead us to fertile lands with all we need to survive. But you may not know that sometimes the herd splits into two, bound for different paths. On those occasions, we Hetzo must also part with half our number. You may think it a strange and stressful custom, but over the years it has seen us visit new lands and broaden our horizons as people. This, too, is the wisdom of the Hetzo. Sure. Hang on, since we are on Torgal, we have to do this. This won't do. The wind'll go right through it, and me without my needle and sinew. Here you go. I brought stuff. I enjoy their coats. Oh, these are precisely what I needed. I should be able to patch up the covering now. Given how often we pack up and reassemble our tents, they're bound to get occasional tear. Fortunately, the Runique hide they're made of is durable enough that we generally needn't worry. You're learning about the Hetzo way of life, are you? I may have a thing or two to share, but rather than talking your ear off, let me test your powers of deduction. I find answers much easier to recall later if I arrived at them myself. Our Hetzo provide us with something that we use in medicines, poultices, and soap to drive away pests and sustain our fires. What is it? My options are bones, hooves. Are hooves bones? Is it dung again? Or meat and organ? Meat? I'll go with is it dung again? It sounds like there's a story there, but that is indeed the correct answer. We've discovered myriad uses for Runique chips over time, each a boon to our way of life. Where there's a need, our Hetzo always provide. You smell of the grass and the wind. Which is a good thing, I promise. You could nearly be mistaken for one of us, or at least an adventurous Shatona. I have to wonder how Valkona is getting on. I assumed he would be reluctant to get his hands dirty, but it seems his wish to understand us was sincere. Ah, there he is now. And he's brought a friend. Apologies for my tardiness. I was tasked with grazing the Runique and ended up rather far afield. I found myself wandering hither and thither at my companion's inclination. To force us back to the trail seemed inappropriate. But how was your own work? Have you anything to share? So my options are, Hetzo life revolves around the Runique, but in turn the people receive all they need, or the Runique are treasured members of this community as important as family. Given that family is kind of a fraught concept for Kona, we'll go with the first one. Yes, I feel the truth of this myself. While I was hesitant to leave my fate to the whims of the Hetzo, rather than tread man-made paths, I arrived where I was meant to be all the same. Mine is not the only way. though at times I lack the experience to know otherwise. My inability to conceive of how a decision might be right does not mean that it is wrong. My parents had a duty to the Ronique, as they did to me, and so I wonder if their leaving me behind was not so selfish an act as I once believed. I have no way to know, of course, and regardless, this has no bearing on our present concerns. We are here in service of the people of Tural, after all. Nevertheless, I thank you for helping me find deeper meaning in what we've done today. And I will endeavor to remain curious, especially where the Hetzo are concerned. Is this an ominous storm blowing in, or like, is that scripted, or is the weather just changing? I'm glad to hear that, Falcona. You're welcome among our herd any time. He's made a friend. Sorry, it says he appears loath to part from his Runic companion, because he made a friend. Kona, how'd it go? I believe I finally understand the significance of the Hetzo. They nourish the Hetsuro as they grow, and provide warmth and companionship in a harsh and unpredictable world. They are the equal of any man, not beasts to be tamed. Moreover, Renique are sensitive. Though we may treat their injuries or brush their coats to keep them hale, they must ever be free to follow their instincts and seek lands where they might thrive. The Hetsuro would never cage them, and neither should we. To control their migratory patterns or capture those who wander too close to the tracks is out of the question. Then it is particularly important to advance our original line of inquiry. Fortunately, we were able to visit the Ronique's once favored grazing grounds. So what Erenville is wearing, is that something that I can get? As we were told, the grass looks fine, but the place is too quiet. It's not just the Ronique. Even the birds and field mice have fled. We did encounter one pack of Ceratopraptors, but they look to be passing through in a hurry. Typically, that sort of behavior and fauna would be associated with natural disasters, earthquakes, landslides, and the like. Though the Hetsuro would have surely put two and two together were the cause geological, I measured the area's ether to be certain. There was indeed nothing to suggest recent environmental disruption, but I did notice one anomaly. A strong etheric signature to the east, moving across the plain, albeit slowly. My options are a large animal, perhaps, or what do you think, Kona? Let's let Kona theorize. Given where we are, I believe we're dealing with a powerful beast. A predator, perhaps, given the local fauna's behavior. One of the raptors we saw looked like it had a bite taken out of its tail, by something with very large fangs. Couldn't be a Turuhetso. He looks alarmed by that, so Turuhetso? Ronique Reaver, in the common tongue. Our people have several names for such creatures. Fangs that steal the Hetso at night is another evocative one. Ronique can fend off many predators with their horns, but not the Turuhetso. Their scales are tough as adamant, and neither horn nor arrow can pierce them. A well-toothed carnivore with an unusually tough hide. I cannot recall any such fauna in this region. They usually roam the wilds in the northeast, and most herds keep well clear of them. I can't tell you why this one is so far from home and its pack both. Have they tried my arrows? My arrows are special. Oh my god, look at the little keychain he has. Sorry. That's new. In any case, I believe the source of the Renique's consternation is clear. As is our next move. We must drive this reaver away, that they might return to their grazing lands in peace. You good to say goodbye to your friend, buddy? Never fear. We'll make certain that the beast that threatens you no more. Oh? Oh dear. Alright, I'm gonna have to disband party. He has such 6 Magikarp. That doesn't seem like a very effective team. But also, same. I love it. That's amazing. Alright, the Renique Reaver is a clear threat to the local population. We cannot allow it to roam unchecked. But it won't do for us to go running off in search of it without having made proper preparations. And if others returning from across the plain have spotted it, they may be able to inform us of its recent behavior and where it might be found. The progress through the upcoming battle will be saved at certain points. In the event you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Well, that's encouraging. Please note that if you enter the battles associated with other quests or log out from the game, this progress will be lost. Yeah, okay.